Siky, Spreadsheets 2.0 is coming on the 1st of November 2025. So this is a project that has been like 6 years in the making. So on our Danish YouTube channel, then we released the first version 5 years ago, and now it's been upgraded. So now it's a 2.0 of the spreadsheets, Siky Excel Sheets 2.0. So the purpose with the sheets back then and today is that when we want to buy a property, we want to get into real estate, then the concept is that we do not want to be landlords. Like, we want to make money. But the thing that people often confuse is that we do not want to make money, we want to get cash. So getting into real estate, we kind of want cash today, or like as a minimum in 1 year from now. We're not looking to invest the money to get money in 10, 20 years, right? Like, to make our business sustainable, we want cash, and we want to take that cash and put it into our pocket immediately from this real estate investment. So that is what the sheets show. So a lot of people, a lot of courses, so I've like bought all the courses, they teach you that you should just get a house and then maybe you will make money in 10 years or 20 years. Right? So if you increase the rent over 20 years, then in 20 years you will make some money, maybe, right? And then all of these courses are like overly optimistic, and like the numbers, just like when you look at the numbers, then they don't make sense, right? But it depends on like what are you going after? Are you going after like, I want to be a landlord, I want a tenant because that's just the greatest thing, and then it's a hobby, and I'm going to pay like $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 for that, $10,000 per year for that for the next 10 years, because then I can go out and I can brag that I have I'm into real estate, right? So a lot of people actually go on foreclosure because like they do this thing, they think the goal is just to go and get a property, right? But they're not looking at like the profit, the cash flow of the property, and they're not looking at what kind of financing are they getting, because they forget that a bank is a place that will give you money even if you can prove if you don't need it, right? But that doesn't mean your idea is good. So the bank will give you money even if your idea is good, if they look at your private economy on the side and your private economy is good enough, right? Then they will say, okay, we can make money on you. Your idea is not good, but it's better that we take your money than one of our competitors take your money, right? So if you can afford it, they will let you buy something that is stupid. And that means like if your situation changes, then you can't pay for this anymore, right? And then that's when people go on foreclosure. So we see that quite often, that people simply like go on foreclosure because like some of the economics they had like privately change, and then they can't afford to have this bad investment that they made, right? So the spreadsheets help like seeing that not only do we have the money and the financing to get the property, right? Because then the Siky cat is pretty happy, right? But the Siky cat wants more houses and more cash. And we can only do that if we have like a positive cash flow on our investment. So I see this very often, that people go and then they get the first property. And then it looks something like this, right? So the cash is down, right? So they need to pay a lot of cash out of their pocket to start this investment adventure. Then over time, the profit is going up, so they're making more and more money, but actually the cash is going down. So every year they need to like take money out of their pocket to be in this real estate business, right? And if you're like need to take money out of your pocket from your private economy in order to like sustain your real estate investment, then the investment is not giving you money to buy the next property, right? So you just get kind of stuck. So this is like part of the spreadsheet. So like generate like a 10-year idea. So you can see like how do we guess that when we look at the numbers, that our economy will look over 10 years. So it prevents us from doing something stupid, or at least like gives us the opportunity to do something stupid deliberately. Then it creates a chart over like 10 years where we can see here, okay, so we start with a debt of 350,000, but our cash is going down year by year by year. So that means like when we're at year 10, then we've had like around 70,000 out of our pocket, right? So that means like after 10 years, we still haven't made any money, but we have like put some money into bricks. And then unless we sell the property, unless we refinance the property, then we can't get the next property. And if we want after year number 2 to go and spend some of this money, we can't really do that. And then it creates like a chart like this, so we can see like how do our cash look compared to net profit and cash flow. So we can see that our cash, the amount of cash we need to put into the property, just goes up year by year by year. So we see this quite often. And the thing is that we can have a positive net profit. So that means like we can have like that we're making 56,000 and we need to pay income tax on before we get the 56,000 of like 15,000. But when we look at the cash flow, so this is like when we acquire property. When we look at the cash flow, then even though we have a profit of 56,000 and we had to pay almost 16,000 in tax, then our cash flow is minus 54,000. So we still need to take the 54,000 out of our own pocket. And the thing is that even though a lot of this money is going into like the mortgage, paying down the mortgage, and it's inside the brick, we cannot go down to McDonald's and say, hey, I have a brick, right? I have some money in my bricks. Can you please give me a cheeseburger? You cannot buy a cheeseburger with profits. You cannot buy a cheeseburger with money you put inside a brick. You can only buy a cheeseburger with cash. The same thing when we want to go and do the pay down for the next property. Then unless we do some crazy refinancing, and that actually requires, again, like the bank is not stupid. So they would like look at like, do you have money in your bank account or not? That is quite important. So a lot of people think, oh, I'm making a lot of money. I'm just spending it in a good way every month. So the bank account is like 0, 0, 0. So it doesn't matter that you can actually have a very good income, but you will not get financing because you're spending the money all the time, right? So we're back at like a bank is a place that will give you money if you can prove you don't need it, right? So what we actually want to do is that we want to have a real estate investment, and then we have like a bank account with the money, and then the money just goes in there every single month and stays there until we can buy the next property, if that is the goal. The key to getting rich is not to do more smart things, but to do fewer stupid things. And that is what the sheet does. The sheet is very honest. It will tell you, are you on your way to doing something stupid, or are you on your way to do something that might be smart? So that is what the sheet says, right? And the sheet is very, very easy. You don't need like a PhD to use it. What you would do is that you would just like plug and play. So you put in what you paid for the property, the land taxes and the rent. And then we put in like the money we're going to spend on the renovation. And then we like say we are going to get this financing and boom, 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 boom. Then it just generates everything. So even if you hate numbers, this sheet will make you love them, right? Because it shows you if you can make money or not. And that is actually the key, right? So it's as Warren Buffett says, right? The difference between successful people and really successful people is that the really successful people say no to almost everything. And it's the same in real estate investment. Like no one wakes up and wants to have a tenant, right? That's not the dream, right? What we want is that we want to have like the good property with the good financing. And if those things don't match, that's what the sheet will help you understand, that those things need to match. Then we need to change things. Maybe we need to find another house. Maybe we need to go and find some other financing. If that's not possible, then we need to maybe get an extra job to get some money so we can get the good financing, right? Because there's nothing worse than like starting and doing something stupid, right? And then we're like back to like people ending up in foreclosure. So when we started 6 years ago in 2019, I had like one of the largest banks in Denmark. They wanted to finance my first property. The thing was, when I used my first spreadsheets, then they said, no, that is not going to happen, Pelle. So my sheet said no. So I had to say no to the bank. Because when I looked at that, then if my economy changed, then like this would just end on foreclosure. Else I might like get another house after 10 years. So that was like the timeline was that if I had this house, I would take money out of my pocket every single month for the next 10 years. Then after 10 years, I could get the next property. And then like I'm 43, so like in 50 years, I might have 10 properties, right? So when I'm like 93, right? And every single year I would have to take money out of my pocket. That's not what we want, right? So I went like like the Colonel Sanders. I went to like bank to bank to bank to bank to bank until I found a bank, and then I tried to like lower all the cost I had, and then at the end I found a bank that would finance the property so that my sheet says this is good, this will make money, right? And because of that, then I got a 100% financing of the first property. But I had to wait 6 months, talk to all the banks, look at all the houses before I found a house that matched, before I found financing that matched what I wanted to do. And then within the next year, I got 9 properties. And then I did some other things, like I quit my job. So that is like, then I changed something. So I quit my job. Then like I was doing some other stuff. So we need to take that into consideration, that if we change something, then things change, right? But if we keep doing the same thing, then we get the same results. That's what Einstein said too, right? If you look at it backwards. So he said insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. But it also means that if we do the same thing and it's working, then we get the same results. So that means you go from one to the second, to the third, to the fourth, to the fifth. And that's what the sheet will help us see, like how can we get the next property? And it doesn't matter what bank you have, right? Like, so I have a student who just got his 6th rental property, and he uses a different bank that people say like, this bank is impossible, you can't work with them, right? But they just gave him a 2.8 million credit, so he can flip houses now. So he started with like using the sheets to find houses that work. Then he waited a bit, and now they just gave him a credit, so now he can actually do the birthing with a low interest rate. So the interest rate is like 4.5%. So the idea here is, again, we take some money not to get one house, but we take the money so we can get more money in our bank account, and that so we can get more houses. And that's what we see with the sheet, because the bank will let you borrow money even if your idea is stupid. If you can prove that you don't need the money, right? Because then it's better that the bank takes the money than you have the money. So the sheet will like give us a estimated value of the property, like how much of the property based on the rent can we like finance. And that is like an awesome thing. But the thing is that if your basic economy is bad, then you can get some financing that actually makes this good house turn bad. So the financing, like I said, with the bank that offered me the financing first, that turns a good house into a bad case. So we need the things to match. We need the good house and we need the good financing, because cash is the lifeblood of business and we want cash. So we need to go and look at houses, and all the ones that don't match, we need to say no, 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 no. And then when we find the house, yes, it's the awesome house, the numbers are working, then we need to go to the bank, and then we need to prove to the bank that we don't need the money, and this is a very good case. Like, show them our spreadsheet and say like, this is what we're going to do. And then the bank, if our personal finances is okay, right, they will say yes. And that's when we can go and like say, okay, yes, 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 and get more and more properties. So we need to remember that the key, again, between the successful and really successful people is that really successful people are those that say no to almost everything, right? We need to say no to having, like, if we have any profit, that they are like inside bricks, right? Because we cannot buy burgers at McDonald's. We cannot go and buy more real estate with bricks. The lifeblood of a business, as Warren Buffett says it, is cash. It's the only thing we can pay our bills with. So that is important, right? So these new spreadsheets is like a combination of, like, the first spreadsheet I had in like 2019, then I updated in 2021, created this product here, and then I now have upgraded it into 2.0. So this is to help with a lot of like the frustrations. So there are like some frustrations is that, but I don't understand the numbers, but that is like what the sheet helps you. So the sheet helps you love numbers, right? So you will say like, I love numbers, numbers love me, after you've like got this course, right? And even if you hate the numbers, you will actually like start to like them, right? Because it shows you how to get rich, or that like prevents you from doing something stupid. And there's like a lot of like different things. So I'll explain the balance sheet. I'll explain income statement, cash flow statement, because I built those into the sheet so we get like a basic fundamental understanding. And if you want to go to the bank and make the presentation, you don't have a presentation like this. You actually understand where the numbers come from, and you can say like, so this is what is going to happen, right? This is how it will look over the 10 years. So you have like something like this, right? That will show like not only you, but the bank that this is not a bad house, this is a good house. And it's easy for the bank, because then the bank they can like take the numbers they want from the sheet and like put it into their own calculations. At the same time, there's no restrictions on the sheet, so I haven't locked anything. So that means you can change it all the way you want. You can put your own logo on it. You can change the colors. You can move the things you don't like, hide them. So you can do whatever you want with the sheet. There's like no restrictions to that. So it is basically the thing that will like, can we say no to this or yes to this? Not only the house, but also to the finances, so we can see if we can get the next property. And then as a bonus, there's like more than 10 lessons where we have like some basic financial understanding, so that we understand. And then you would say that, Fally, you would probably charge like $2,000 for this, right? Because that's what the other people are doing, right? I actually have a student who told me that I should charge a lot more for my products, because he's been buying the competition products too. And he says like, our products are actually like much more valuable than what the other people are doing. So he doesn't understand why I'm charging so little, right? But I am actually not going to charge $2,000 for it, right? So the spreadsheet is going to be only not $397. And then because it's coming out on the 1st of November, we have this pre-order discount code. So you can use the discount founder. There's a link in the description below. And then it will only be $198.50 US dollars. So that's our new spreadsheets, the Siky Siky Spreadsheets 2.0. So go buy it now if you want that, right? It's 500 hours of my time has gone into this, so it's quite cheap actually. If you like the video, give it a like. If you don't like it, give it a dislike. If you hate spreadsheets and like think this is stupid, write it in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Have a wonderful day.